Hi guys, welcome back. On this week's show, we're going to be installing a adjustable fin box with a massive single fin. We're going to begin by just marking the position of the fin box. I would like the fin to be sliding from an area of around here to here, so somewhere between 10 centimeters from the rear to about 20 centimeters from the rear. That's kind of where I want the placement of this fin to be. So I'm just going to measure 10 centimeters and just make a quick mark. And that's where I would like the back end of the fin box to be sitting. Perfect. Now I've made my little mark. I'm going to be using the actual fin box as a template and centering it exactly on the stringer. Draw my little mark. To the right on this one. There you go. That's about it. Just going to make sure that I did that correctly by measuring the distances from left to right to the center. That's correct. That one could go over a centimeter more to my side. Yeah, okay. This one just needs to move over a little bit more. Other than that, I'm going to mark it, and I'm going to cut it out. I used a bit of masking tape for protection, so while I'm dremeling the hole, that I don't damage anything. So what I've done is I've leveled the board to make sure that it is completely straight. I'm going to put the fin into the fin box, place my fin. Now all I need to do is pour a bit of resin in here. Well, take it out, pour resin in here, put the fin box back in, and make sure that the fin is centered, and then we just let it cure. I'm going to prepare some strips of tape, hang them off the side here. So once I've centered the fin, I'm going to be holding the fin in place with the tape. Now I've mixed a bit of resin, I'm going to pour it into the slot. Be spreading it a little bit up on the sides. Add a little bit more. There we go, that should be enough. Make sure I saturate every corner. I'm going to be just spreading a little bit onto the fin box itself. Just to fill these little gaps or slots that it has over here. Okay, let's position it. Squeeze it down. You can see how the resin is starting to come up on the sides. Don't want to go too far in this case. I think I'm going to add just a little bit more resin. Just pick it up again. There we go. Pour a bit more resin into the slot. That should do the trick. Now if I push it down, I can see how much higher it is actually. The resin is actually starting to be over halfway. So if I give it some pressure, that's actually quite good already. I think at the back here, let me just see. Maybe it could use a little bit more resin. Let me just pour a bit more in there. There we go. Yep, that's exactly where I want the level of resin to be. Once that's cured, I'm going to be adding some resin into the top slot from this side, but I'm happy with it the way it sits at the moment. So let's position it and make sure that it's exactly in the center. What I'm doing now is I'm using the level, because I know my board is absolutely level. I'm going to be taking the edge or the end piece of the fin and leveling it out towards the stringer. So what I'm doing, I'm taking the center of the stringer, pulling up the level, making sure the level is level as well, and then once that is level, I know the position of the fin is in the correct place. So there we go. That is absolutely spot on. So I'm going to leave it like that to cure. Maybe I'll even just pour a little bit of resin into the slots while I still have a bit. Seeing that the board is already painted, I had to do a few adjustments to the fin box. I cut off the lips, I set the depth of the Dremel to the exact height so that now the fin box sits flush to the board, because I don't have a lot of room later on to be sanding the fin box flat, because obviously I'm going to be destroying the paint. So once the resin has cured, I'm going to be removing the fin. I'm going to close this hole. I'm going to be adding a little bit of resin to fill up the gaps, and then later on with a hot coat it'll just seal everything perfectly. So it's a couple of hours later, the resin has set, the fin box is in its place. I wanted to show you a couple of tools that make this job so much easier. The most important tool you'll be using or needing for a job like this is a milling tool or a CNC, a hand CNC machine. The nice thing about these, you can buy any one, they all have similar functions. It can adjust the depth of the actual milling tool. So you start off with a low depth and you do your first cut. Make sure that you're cutting exactly in the lines. Now, to get a very straight cut from the front to the rear of the fin box, I actually use the edge of the stopper plate and run it along the ruler. That way I'm not messing up my cut. So the last cut that I do, I take it as close to the line as possible that I've made, and I run it from the front to the back. That way I have a pretty straight cut. The other thing is, you want to then, the second cut, you have to go a little bit deeper, and in the last cut you do, you take the depth of the milling tool and adjust it exactly to the height of the fin box. So your last cut is precise in depth, and when you then place the fin box in, it's flush with the board. So you're not fiddling around or trying to push it down or anything. You just make sure all materials and everything are gone so that the fin box just slides in freely. So once you actually apply resin, you're not fighting. It just slots in and you've done 90% of the work. And there you go, quick and easy, not a lot of work. You just need a bit of patience for the, for the resin to dry. But other than that, this is a fairly easy step. So at this point, I'm going to end this job. I'm not going to carry on. I'm going to give the board to the customer. He wants to draw a big dragon onto the bottom of the board. Once he's done with that, the board will come back to me and we'll get it ready for hot coat and glossing. And we're coming to an end, my friends. That's it for this week. Thanks for watching. Subscribe to the channel, click that notification bell, give me a like, and we'll see you guys next week. Bye.